Welcome to another Unnecessary Computer Things. For this video, I'm just going to do a quick demo of some of the features of the Ringo R-470 through the EightyOne Emulator. Like I mentioned in a accompanying blog post, I actually found this just because it was available as a ROM in the EightyOne Emulator. One of the features you can see is there's this cursor that highlights which line you're on as you press the down arrow keys. So one of the things we can do is we can actually go into edit mode, so that's a shift 1 here, and then there's a cursor that follows along, and you see this L for letter. We can actually remove the step because it makes it divide up into 640 segments, which I'm using that spacing for speed tests, but it also makes for a very long plotting time. One thing that you might have noticed there with the step that was there is when you backspace over it, it deletes the whole keyword because those are basically considered one unit instead of individual letters. You can't actually type those out. Same goes for the 2 in this for loop. So when you press enter, one thing that all of this generation of Sinclair computers does is it does actually do that kind of refresh whenever you hit enter. This seems to be the only ROM that actually does that, like diagonal refresh when you do that. I can go and edit that first line. Let's say we want to take off the quotes. Okay, and then press enter and it does that refresh again. And you can see, so to clear the screen it's CLS, but it's a single character X. The keyboards themselves would have, on the real computers, would have template that would actually show all the different values. So I'll do clear screen. We'll do a list one more time just to show you how it goes, and let's R for run. And if you actually type shift R, it gives you fast. So you can, there is actually a fast mode. I think it's like double the speed. I think one of the things it does is it actually just doesn't bother with refreshing screen. Actually, we can do a run here, demonstrate this. This was another reason why I would divide each point along the x-axis by 10, is because otherwise these points aren't connected. So, but it's 10 times slower than it already is if you do it like that. And then at the end you get an error code, which if it's 0, that means it was successful, and then the last line that was executed as part of that. Let's do a clear screen. Let's do a list. Have a bad habit of actually wanting to type it out, so that's one thing that's awkward. If you're used to something that's a little more modern, then having single keywords typed out with single keystrokes is a little bit of a surprise. So do what is it? What is fast again? If you don't actually have it mapped out, then it's even harder to figure out which key does it. Fast is R. So R, fast, and then R for run, and it blanks the screen. And then there you go. So it actually drew that and then came back in slow mode. So slow mode, you actually see the drawing, but if you change it to slow mode, it also clears the screen. So fast just basically means that it doesn't bother spending time drawing the screen as part of the running of the program. So you're dividing up your time for the processor between drawing the screen elements and executing the program, and if you turn off that, you turn off the screen drawing while running, then you have more resources available, more clock cycles available to actually show the program. I will put a link to the source code here in just the description. It's in a GitHub. Unlike some of the Commodore examples, you can't copy and paste this into an emulator. Actually, you have to type the right letters. So, like for example, line 100 would be actually 100X, and I just overwrote this same line, but you would have to use the keyboard keys for those specific spots. One interesting thing that this actually provides, much like Commodore, you actually have a pi symbol. Now that is on the emulated mode, it's you press and release control and hit P, and then the division symbol is a shift H, and then 180. It's almost like a game to practice if you can remember all these locations. I have a sheet available that lists all of the commands in alphabetical order, so you can actually look it up that way versus looking it on the keyboard chart. If you find the manual for the R470, which I have a link in my blog post on this as well, it does have a keyboard chart on page 12 in black and white, but it'll at least be able to tell you where the things are. With the black and white, you just have to know where, like, which row on the key map is which. Well, thanks for watching. This is all I really wanted to demonstrate. Kind of have to see it in action a little bit. The blog post really doesn't do it justice. It doesn't show you the awkwardness of trying to type it on the keyboard, and while it probably was a little bit easier on the membrane keyboard or the chiclet keyboards of the Spectrum computers or Sinclair computers, it's actually kind of nice to have the mechanical keyboard to type on instead. Anyway, thanks for watching.